Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing NXT November 28th, 2023 edition. And this edition of NXT featured a couple more matches for the Iron Survivor match, as well as a tag team title match to open up the show, along with a number one contenders match for the North American title to close the show. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get right into the action. Starting with the NXT Tag Team Championship match, The Family versus Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. This was a fun opener that showcased the talent of two up-and-coming tag teams in WWE. Well, this probably should have been saved for Deadline, where they could get more time. The teams maximized their minutes. The right team won, as it was too soon for the Family to lose the gold again. Carrillo and Garza, though, are going to have a tough time getting back into that title contention soon. Perhaps this is a way to set them up for a return to the main roster. Both are certainly ready and have found a gimmick that will work for them better in round 2, provided that there's an actual commitment made to them the second time around than there was the first time around. They were barely on TV the first time around, and when they were around, there was usually nothing of note. I did hear a report on the internet saying that perhaps Garza and Carrillo could find themselves paired up with Santos Escobar. That'd be a great way to reintroduce them on the roster and give them something, and give them like a feud to be involved in right away too. So I mean, if that's an idea, why not do it? Iron Survivor qualifier match, Kiana James versus Kalani Jordan. And while James was probably came in the favorite in this match, the upset was fairly predictable. Since James had already cost Perez a shot in the Iron Survivor Challenge, it was only fitting that the Prodigy would do the same. The action was solid and highlighted two of NXT's smoothest in-ring workers. It was a bit too choreographed, but they both looked strong coming out of the match. Right Woman won as Jordan needed a rebound after losing the breakout tournament. Jordan is now set up to, Jordan should turn some heads in the biggest match of her career. She's a promising up-and-comer. Second Iron Survivor qualifier for the show, Braun Breaker versus Eddie Thorpe, and this probably went longer than it should have, but these two guys sold a very clear story in the ring. This did not look or feel like two development prospects wrestling, rather it was a fight between stars. Breaker had the win to give the Iron Survivor Challenge a clear favorite, but Thorpe is ready for an expanded role. Granted, he has not put it all together just yet, but when his chance comes, if he can bring the physicality shown in this match and raise the energy of his performance, he should be able to capitalize on whatever the next opportunity is. So he's not quite there yet, but he is steadily improving, and that's a good thing. The number one contenders match for the North American title to close out the show, fatal four-way match, and unsurprisingly this was a great match. It showed the value of each man, and the crowd was completely invested in the return of some of NXT's finest. The nostalgia was earned. Gargano remains a different kind of athlete in NXT. Reed made a wonderful centerpiece in this battle thanks to his size and power. Grimes showed why he should have more of a role on SmackDown. Lee showed that he belonged and why NXT should consider giving him a second reign as North American champion. He remains one of NXT's best bout machines, and so his passion for the title he lost. So yeah, it is official: Wesley versus Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American title at Deadline. If Lee doesn't beat Dominic for the title, then who does beat Dominic for the title? So interesting to see how that one plays out. Are they finally ready to take the title off of Dominic Mysterio? So in conclusion, NXT delivered a step back in the right direction, but outside of the main event, the rest of the show might be forgotten past the night. Luckily, the main event was good enough to elevate the show. It should hopefully open up WWE officials' eyes to the potential that Johnny Gargano and Cameron Grimes still have, while reinforcing the value of Bronson Reed. The right wrestlers won at a night that built toward Deadline, and NXT even ended the show highlighting a women's feud that should stand out without any gold on the line in Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James. Something tells me those two are going to have a one-on-one match at Deadline, even though they're in the last chance qualifier match for the Iron Survivor. I sincerely doubt both of them are going to either one of them is going to make that match. The Iron Survivor Challenge matches have shaped up in odd fashion. NXT seems interested in giving a few new stars a chance to prove themselves alongside some obvious favorites. Next week's final qualifiers should be interesting depending on how they shape up. The best bet would be for winners would be Carmelo Hayes and Fallon Henley, but given the results already from the initial qualifiers. No, that's not a guarantee. NXT is building a good headline card and can still deliver solid action with the right focus. The go-home show next week should be better than this show. Not to say this was a bad show, this was a good show, but go-home shows should be good at the very least. And with that, that will conclude this episode of the WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below.